Hi, today on the occasion of World Homeopathy Day, I am glad to pay a small tribute to the father of homeopathy, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. Hepar Sulph was a remedy created by him by combining finely powdered inner layers of oyster shells with flowers of sulphur and then dissolved this powder into hydrochloric acid. So let's revise, reconnect and reform. Tendency to suppuration and hypersensitiveness are two very strong guiding symptoms of Hepar Sulph. Now first let's take a brief insight into physical generals of Hepar Sulph. Unhealthy skin, wounds, abscesses, boils, carbuncles, erysipelas, cellulitis, sinuses, fistulas, deep cracks, chapped skin, cold sores, and you know how painful they can get. Hepar Sulph acts on mucous membranes, causing catarrhal processes with profuse discharges, tendency to hemorrhages and ulcerations. The catarrh may be seen in regards to ear, eyes, nose, mouth, throat, stomach, intestine, anus, urethra, uterus. The discharges are thick, yellow and acrid, ropey. It can be used in a number of glandular affections and also lymphatic disorders. It is used in a number of bone, muscle and joint complaints. It produces inflammation and softening of bones and flabby and paretic muscles. So it can be specially used in emaciation, cachexia, rickets, marasmus, scurvy, rheumatism, gout, osteoarthritis. Physically debilitated subjects with soft and flabby muscles, PSORIC scrofulous diathesis and a torpid lymphatic constitution. During his illness, the patient is highly weak. The patient has pain in the facial bones. Middle of the lower lip may be cracked. There may be ulcers at the corners of the mouth. The gums and the mouth are painful and scorbutic. There is excessive salivation, what we call as stylism. Hairs fall out easily. The patient may sweat day and night without relief. Needless to say that all these symptoms are commonly found in suppurations. There is weakness of muscles and there is catarrh of the mucous membrane. Therefore, digestion becomes weak. There is heaviness, pressure in the stomach with distension even after slightest meals. There is loss of power to expel even soft stools. There is an unnatural longing for acids, wine and strong tasting food. The patient has an aversion to fatty food. The patient needs wine for doing mental work, and this is a very unique feature of Hepar Sulph. Typically, the patient suffers from a lack of internal warmth. So, all the symptoms are made worse from exposure to cold air, cold weather, cold wind, cannot bear to be uncovered, wants to be wrapped up warmly. Great sensitiveness to touch and to air. Aggravation from lying down on painful side. At physical level, wrapping up involves a covering. But at mental level, a person can be wrapped up in thoughts or fancies. Hepar lives in a delusion in which he fancies everything around him is wrong. He is discontented always, everything with, himself with. Also, he is very sensitive, hypersensitive to touch, to noise, to cruelties, to moral impressions, to all external impressions and also sensual impressions. And any disturbances at this level drives him into a violent anger. The Hepar Sulph patient is in a hurry not only to eat, drink and talk, but he is also hurried about his occupation. Moreover, he cannot tolerate contradiction and has a tendency to dwell over past disagreeable occurrences. Therefore, he often suffers from ailments because of discord between parents, family, friends, spouse. They are very hard to get along with. Nothing pleases them and they dislike company. They may be indolent and with no sense of duty. In between illnesses, however, a typical Hepar Sulph personality is vivacious, cheerful, lively, intensely passionate. The audacious nature lacks discrimination. There is a typical desire for change and impulsive squandering. Hepar's sensitivity for pain is so high that during the problem they have apprehension of coming into contact with anything or anybody, and mere thinking makes them shudder. The reason behind their fear of touch is that they are scared of being harmed or hurt, which they cannot bear. Despite such fear, they are neither cautious nor careful. It is interesting to see that Hepar has no fear, pain during or fear. Being cautious or careful in their opinion is of no use. They say, how long is it possible for a person to avoid coming in contact with outside things? It is reasonable enough to keep oneself away from being touched. But how can one stop others or avoid circumstances when someone else can hit by mistake? This is the objective reasonable of hip. To this, the patient may add that I don't have enough funds. I have to earn for my living. For working, I have to move. And while moving, I may accidentally hit upon something which may cause me intense pain. But I feel that I lack this strength. I lack the strength to tolerate pain. This is delusion. When by mistake somebody or something touches him at the affected part, the pain becomes so intense as if somebody has put him into fire. Moreover, it keeps on burning for a long time. He gets so much angry that an impulse comes to him to kill the person or destroy the thing that has caused him such a problem. He feels or he apprehends how he is going to recover from his illness if a continuous touch is there again and again. He feels the process of recovery will be delayed. He is scared of its after effects, which horrifies him, and it inculcates a fear of impending disease, a fear of disease walking in open air, and fear of being disfigured. The pain generates a state of indifference to pleasure and to relatives. It makes him unfeeling and hard-hearted. He becomes abrupt, abusive, malicious. There is a disposition to contradict and irritability at trifles. There may be intense loquacity and he fails to listen to anyone. There is a general hurry, impatience, impoliteness and impulsiveness in his being. The violent anger within seconds may get converted to rage, which at its peak may result into cruelty, inhumanity. When he is aroused to anger, his speech becomes delirious. He threatens to kill his wife, his children. Sometimes the patient may have an impulse to throw the child into fire. The pain drives him into such a severe anguish, so much so that he becomes beside himself. He tries to commit suicide and he tries to put himself on fire. Such intense is his sadness and despair that it makes him suicidal. At other times, He becomes discouraged from pain. Time passes too slowly. He becomes dull. There is a desire to be silent. There is an indisposition to talk. And then he is engulfed by anxiety. Anxiety is mainly when he is alone. He begins to care, he begins to worry, he begins to think about his family, about their future, about their health. His pain, both mental or physical, may make him weep bitterly. He may sob aloud and he may weep in his sleep. His pain may make him unconscious about his needs and requirements. He may enter a state of dipsomania or alcoholism. He may engulf himself into several delusions, like he may feel that he is going to be murdered, or his house is going to be set on fire, or he is going to get extremely poor, or sometimes he may have a delusion that his family members are sick and are about to die, or sometimes he may have a delusion of seeing dead persons. I have tried to summarize this journey of Hepar Sulph. I hope you find it useful. Thank you.